Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Some of you may have noticed that I took off publishing new content on YouTube for the past few days, and that's for no other reason than, well, Saturday I was busy all day at a wedding, and then I did take a few days off, which is super rare, because I'll tell you, now having run this YouTube channel for over half a decade, I have published videos on almost every single one of those days, including almost all holidays, because I just have fun running this channel. So, you know, if you're like me and it's your most favorite hobby, these are Moon Lambo things that you do. But I have been off for a few days, and there's some news that occurred while I was off that is absolutely worth talking about. And so I am playing a little bit of catch up on some of this stuff, and so I thought I'd cover that in this video. And as it turns out, there's a massive bank that has become an XRP ledger validator. Does that sound like a blockchain that's gonna cease to be relevant? Does that sound like a blockchain with a coin attached that's going to zero? I don't think so either. You know, every sign that we see shows that on a major institutional level, XRP continues to be adopted. Now, in this case, we're ultimately talking about SBI, which has been pro XRP and a partner of Ripple dating back, well over half a decade. I mean, since before I was in crypto. I've been in crypto since late 2017. I can't remember exactly when the relationship started. But let's just say that they're optimistic for the XRP ledger and XRP itself, and they are now running a validator. Also, I want to share with you a story having to do with, it'll just highlight just how disgusting, as if you need more of it, just how disgusting the SEC is. So there's a post shared by XRP community member and attorney Fred Rispoli, who is bringing the fight to the SEC. And he had a couple comments I want to share with you, and he also highlighted a post from I think it was maybe he's the CEO, but I think he's the founder. I'll pull him up in a second here. But he's running Exodus, crypto wallet. And they were all set to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange until suddenly, last minute, not so much, because of the SEC. It's a further highlighting of just how disgusting this government agency is. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, real quick before jumping into a couple of those topics I just cited, I wanted to give a shout out to the fine folks over at Zerpay. Have you heard about Zerpay? And just to be clear, this is not some sort of sponsored segment. I've actually never had a sponsor on this channel ever. Maybe at some point I will in the future for something, but I've opted not to the whole time I've been running this channel. But I like to give shout outs and credit where due. And Zerpay is building real stuff on the XRP ledger. And in fact, they launched their own coin, which is on the XRP ledger, which I may have heard has a built-in decentralized exchange. So it's tokenized on the XRP ledger, which happens to require the usage and existence of XRP itself. So it's great for XRP on top of that and the XRP ledger. And Zerpay, they have created multiple actual games, pay-to-play games. You don't have to pay to play, but you have an opportunity to actually pay and then get rewarded as a result of that. Now, there's an awesome video of explaining the breakdown, including it's an interview from PP, formerly known as XRPP. It's this fine, handsome-looking gentleman on your screen right here with a face of books. And so there's and I'm going to try and remember to put a link to this video in the details section of this video. But there is a post from the people over at Ginfinity, and they interviewed him, and you should check it out. There's a 15-minute video, roughly. I watched the whole thing a few days ago. You should check it out. I shared a link on social media platform X. I just think it's cool when people are building stuff on the XRP ledger, and so I just wanted to give them a shout-out and give credit where it's due. It's awesome stuff that they're doing here. So again, I will go ahead and link that below, but it's just, you'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. You can do stuff with XRP and the XRP ledger. And so I hope that you guys do go ahead and check that out. Then there's this headline from the Crypto Basic. Japan's finance giant SBI becomes XRP ledger validator. SBI VC Trade, the crypto exchange business of Japan's finance giant SBI Holdings, launches a validator on the XRP ledger. Oh yeah, and by the way, one of the reasons I want to highlight this is because they stated something that's absolutely incorrect a couple paragraphs in, and I want to touch on that too, so check this out. The team behind the Japan-based crypto exchange announced the move in a press release this morning, emphasizing their long-standing support of XRP, which has propelled the cryptocurrency to become one of the platform's most favored assets. And I'll also note that this was on May 10th, but like I said, I've been out the last few days, but I got to talk about this. You love to see this. According to the announcement, SBI VC Trade has already begun its node operation, with on-chain data confirming that the Validator service is now operational at the reporting time. The overarching goal for the firm is to eventually become a DUNL on the XRPL, which would allow it to have more say on amendments. And indeed, if you go to XRP Scan, which I've done right here, you can see it. You scroll down to here, and there they are. It's live, SBI. And, you know, I will say I was a little bit surprised. So I actually first saw this. So I guess it's actually May 9th, technically. And Vet shared this post on X. And Vet is an XRP Ledger DUNL validator. And he wrote, SBI just started to run their XRP validator, Ledger validator. This is a huge step on having large enterprises running infrastructure for the XRP Ledger welcome. And so this is, I mean, they're part of one of the largest banks on the damn planet, certainly in Japan. It's just absolutely huge. I was a little surprised by this because, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have assumed that there was that level of support, but there should be. But they were just so ingrained in the, you know, in the world of XRP, at least in my mind, that I actually thought that they probably would have just had one anyway, and they didn't. And so I responded to him and said, honestly, I'm a little surprised. I just assumed they already had one. But they didn't, so this is progress, and I love to see it. But for them to be jumping and doing this in 2024, this is the opposite of winding down any sort of interaction with XRP and the XRP Ledger. It's going to be increasing. This is the right direction to go. But anyway, this piece from the Crypto Basic continues. For context, a validator on the XRP Ledger confirms transaction validity. However, a DUNL, Default Unique Node List validator, is a trusted validator that is part of a select group with more influence on the ledger's operation. While each validator can choose its UNL list, which compromises validators it trusts, the DUNL list most prominent for the XRPL is a list of validators recommended by the XRP Ledger Foundation and Ripple. And so a couple things on this. So this first sentence here, a validator on the XRP Ledger confirms transaction validity, that's not precise. That's not, validators are not deciding which transactions are allowed to go through and which are not allowed to go through. That is not the case here. In fact, that's why the name validator, I think, it's not the best name. Like, this is a missed opportunity. Validators, and I'm not the one that came up with this, I just agree with this. Validators should not be called validators. They should be called sequencers, because what they're doing is actually just choosing the order in which transactions go through. So to call a validator a sequencer would make more sense than calling it a validator, because it's led here all these years later. It's just an incorrect sentence. They're not choosing which transactions are allowed to go through. It's a decentralized network. Anybody can participate. And it doesn't really matter what order they go through, because think about this. Transactions, 3 to 5 seconds on the XRP ledger, right? So part of that has to do with the fact that there's legs. So if you're considering when an individual validator, when they're going to see that transaction come in, they might see it come in before a different transaction, and there could be a disagreement what order transactions come in just because of actual leg, because of actual distance on the planet. And so, as it turns out, the order doesn't matter. So as long as the strong majority of validators agree on a particular order, then it can be locked into the blockchain. It's immutable, and that's all that matters. And so, God forbid, your transaction, one validator thinks it should have been settled for a particular ledger, and it's not. Well, then check it again 3 seconds later. It functionally doesn't matter. That's by design. So it's just sequencing. It's not saying you're allowed to go through or not allowed to go through. And so it's just a little bit of a misconception there. But anyway, the other reason I wanted to highlight this, like I said earlier at the outset of the video, it's fantastic to see this support increase to this degree. It's going the right direction. Then there's also this from attorney Fred Rispoli, who is the founder of HODL Law. And you got to love that name. It's an actual law firm called HODL Law. I love it. I think it's awesome. So anyway, check this out. He wrote, HODL Law sued the SEC because, like the rest of XRP Army, we understood Phase 1 of the government attack on crypto. Phase 3 is ramping up. Stop self-custody, SAB 121, Samurai Wallet, MetaMask, and SEC Prevention of Exodus NYSE listing is further proof. And I haven't talked about Samurai on this channel. It's probably not necessary for the purposes of this video. But SAB 121, I've certainly talked about. And I want to talk about Exodus specifically because that is just, it's not necessarily that surprising, but I think some people outside of crypto might be shocked by this, but I'm disgusted by it. I'm definitely disgusted. So you look at this headline from CoinDesk. Crypto wallet provider Exodus's New York Stock Exchange American stock listing postponed for SEC review. And so this is just another example of we here in the XRP community being correct. We warned, hey, it's not just an attack on Ripple and an attack on everybody that's holding XRP. That's what we were saying dating back to December 2020. This is an attack on all of crypto. They're not going to stop here. And we were right. Of course we were right. And Attorney John Deaton was among the first people to really, in a very strong way, insist, guys, this really is an attack on all of crypto. And Brad Garlinghouse did too. But from the first day that the news came down, December 22nd, 2020, when it was official, that was the first day it was official, even though the day before we got word from Brad Garlinghouse that it looked like the SEC was about to sue. And so here we are. So check this out. Crypto wallet company Exodus Movement will not be listing on New York Stock Exchange American, the New York Stock Exchange's sibling market, on Thursday as planned, the company announced late Wednesday. And I don't really want to read the article. I want to share with you what JP had to say here. And so yeah, he is the CEO of Exodus. Look at this. This is so repulsive. Check this out. Yesterday, the SEC prevented the listing of EXOD, EXOD, on the New York Stock Exchange American. We've been working with NYSE on this listing for years, and were given prior approval formally by the New York Stock Exchange to list today. And folks, this next part is why I was like, ooh, face palm, like, they really did this. Because check this out. Here's what he wrote. We flew hundreds of employees and families into NYC to celebrate this moment. Oh, God. Hundreds of people came for this single event, and then SEC completely screwed them out of it. Unbelievable, right? I mean, it's the SEC, so maybe that's not the most precise word. Not unbelievable. I mean, nothing is beyond the SEC when it comes to douchiness. But my God, the degree to which this is just disgusting. So check this out. JP says the following. Every step of the way, we played by the regulatory rules given, and then at the 11th hour, the rules of the game were changed. It's beyond frustrating. This changes nothing about the record-setting Q1 2024 performance of our business or the strength of our team. This changes nothing for the 4.5 million people who love and trust our products. However, Exodus is already regulated as a public company with robust reporting obligations just like Google or Amazon. Continuing to operate as a public company without the benefits of stock liquidity provided by a listing on a national exchange is not sound business. For now, we will continue to work with the SEC on this listing, but are considering all of our options. Nothing is off the table. Yeah, well, so what I think is they should go on the offensive here. And Attorney Rispoli is thinking the same thing, it seems. He reposted that and he said, JP, sorry to read about this, but I highly advise against working with the SEC. With its recent behavior against wallet providers, there is zero chance you will get the green light from the agency. An offensive strategy of litigation is the only way. Okay, so sadly, I have to say I think Attorney Rispoli is correct. Yeah, unfortunately, I think you have to go on the offensive here. You're not just going to win this thing. Now, that's why when JP wrote at the end, nothing is off the table, I mean, read between the lines there. Obviously, that would include perhaps an offensive against the SEC from a legal perspective. So we'll see what happens here. But again, just another bit of proof. Hey, we were right. We were warning. And it just would have been nice if we all came together to a stronger degree sooner than we did. Now, at this point, there does seem to be real mobilization of all those in the world of crypto. So that feels good. That really does. But we could have been moving to this degree, and we'd be even in an even better position now if people just wouldn't have been so spiteful and irrationally hateful towards XRP and Ripple. We'd be further ahead right now. It just as an overall crypto community. I'm just saying, it is what it is. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.